Mouna Ayoub is one of the richest Arab women and an enigmatic figure in the fashion world. But her life wasn't always as bright and free as it is now. For 20 years, Mouna lived in a golden cage, wearing a burqa and forbidden from speaking to men. This is the story of how she escaped the family slavery of an Arab billionaire, built an independent business in a foreign country, and why she became a figure of hatred in Saudi Arabia. Mouna was born in Kuwait to an ordinary family. Her parents were Catholics of Lebanese descent and raised her in a Western way. Although her family wasn't wealthy, her mother had a great sense of style and instilled this in Mouna from a young age. After school, Mouna attended university and worked as a waitress in her spare time. It was during this period that she met a man who would change her life forever. Nasser al-Rashid was one of the richest men in the Middle East, an advisor to the king of Saudi Arabia with a fortune estimated at $8 billion. He enchanted the young Mouna with expensive gifts and outfits from the best fashion designers. She believed she had found her prince charming. When Nasser proposed, she accepted without hesitation. They married in a lavish ceremony in 1977 when Mouna was 20 and Nasser was twice her age. Initially, Mouna was happy, but she had no idea that her life would soon become a nightmare. Nasser set a strict condition before marriage. Mouna had to convert to Islam. Having grown up in a Muslim country, Mouna accepted this for the sake of her husband's happiness. However, Nasser also insisted she wear a hijab and forbade her from speaking to men or leaving the house except on holidays. Thus, Mouna found herself locked in a golden cage immediately after marriage. For the next 2 decades, she faced endless prohibitions, loneliness, and constant waiting while her husband lived an active life, constantly traveling and focused on his career. Mouna described her existence in Saudi Arabia as being only to satisfy a man's sexual needs and his instinct to dominate. She likened her situation to that of an expensive escort girl. Despite having everything materially, including fancy clothes and exquisite jewelry, she couldn't enjoy these luxuries. Her life was confined to black robes and burqas, a stark contrast to the sense of style that had been ingrained in her from childhood. The exquisite jewelry her husband bought her collected dust in the safe, and the fancy clothes remained unworn. Instead of the glamorous life she dreamed of, Mouna's reality was bleak and oppressive. Throughout her marriage, Mouna felt unhappy, crying often and dreaming of a better life. Although she wanted to divorce her overbearing husband, she suppressed her desire for freedom for the sake of her 5 children. She found solace in collecting couture clothing and unusual jewelry, expenditures that didn't affect her husband's immense wealth. Her children were the only bright spots in her life, and she focused on their well-being despite her own suffering. After 20 years, Mouna finally managed to secure a divorce, adhering to Islamic law. However, Nasser was furious and used his influence to launch a media campaign against her, resulting in widespread hatred in Saudi Arabia. The divorce agreement required her to leave the country and stipulated that the children would remain with their father until they reached adulthood. Mouna was also deprived of any claim to Nasser's fortune, but he didn't dare take away the gifts he had given her, fearing it would tarnish his image. The divorce was a bitter and painful process. Nasser's campaign of harassment made Mouna a pariah in Saudi society. She was vilified in the press and ostracized by those who once admired her. The clause in the divorce agreement that forced her to leave her children behind was particularly heartbreaking. For years, she was unable to see them, adding to her emotional torment. Yet, despite these hardships, Mouna remained determined to build a new life. Despite being stripped of almost everything, Mouna saw her escape from the golden cage as a new beginning. With the clothes and jewelry she had, she moved to Paris and started anew. She sold most of her jewelry, including pieces from Bulgari, Harry Winston, and Butaladi, using the proceeds to buy a sailing yacht named Fossa. She invested about $27 million in it, including refurbishment costs. Her ex-husband believed she would go bankrupt and come crawling back, but he was wrong. The yacht became incredibly popular among Europe's elite, bringing in significant revenue. Mouna reinvested her earnings into luxury real estate, quickly amassing a fortune close to $500 million. Her knowledge of high society and business acumen helped her thrive. She befriended famous fashion designers like Karl Lagerfeld and Jean-Paul Gaultier, who admired her transformation from a burqa-wearing woman to a fashion icon. Mouna's villas in Monaco became popular spots for these designers, and European fashion houses created mannequins based on her figure to avoid travel for fittings. The yacht business flourished beyond anyone's expectations, and Mouna's reputation as a savvy businesswoman grew. She didn't stop at just one venture. Her investments in luxury real estate turned out to be incredibly profitable. She bought chic homes and rented them out to the wealthy, further increasing her fortune. In a few short years, Mouna transitioned from a life of restrictions to one of opulence and freedom. Mouna's newfound wealth didn't lead to arrogance or snobbery. She often dined at ordinary eateries despite her riches, explaining that luxury was an art form for her, not a means to set herself apart. Her extensive collection of 10,000 outfits was regularly sold to fund her charitable endeavors, particularly aiding women who were victims of domestic violence and organizing exhibitions to introduce young people to the masterpieces of great couturiers. Mouna's ex-husband, unable to accept her success, bought a $200 million yacht and named it after her. It ran aground off Cannes during a famous film festival. But Mouna, attending the event, did not react, illustrating her indifference to his attempts to regain her attention. In 2000, Mouna published her autobiography, which became an instant bestseller. People were fascinated by the life of a woman once vilified in Saudi Arabia. Now, Mouna enjoys a life of pleasure and freedom, one of the richest Arab women in the world. She tries not to dwell on her unhappy years of marriage and focuses on her passions and charitable work. Her autobiography offered a detailed look at her journey, providing inspiration to many who read it. The book's success reaffirmed her status as a resilient and influential figure. Mouna's ability to transform her life despite enormous challenges serves as a powerful reminder of the strength of the human spirit. Mouna Ayoub's journey from a restrictive marriage to becoming a powerful, independent businesswoman is nothing short of inspiring. Her story is a testament to resilience and the pursuit of freedom and self-expression. What do you think about this freedom-loving woman and her incredible fate? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories. See you soon.